where we put you on the map. This is Ron Costa broadcasting live from the Mappable USA studios in Las Vegas. And today we have a really great show. We're going to talk about real estate and syndication and technology. And to do that, we're going to bring in Vicki Hutchmala from the QOZ Marketplace. Vicki, are you there? How are you doing today?
I'm here, Ron. I'm doing outstanding, and I'm looking forward to this podcast. It's going to be very interesting and informative.
Yeah, we've done podcasts already on real estate and on syndication and on private placement memorandums and all kinds of investing opportunity. Today, we're going to kind of bring that together and talk about how technology is impacting that market. And to do that, we got a great guest today. Let's bring in Dan Summers from eVest Technologies. Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ron and Vicki. Thanks for the opportunity to join you on this podcast.
Oh, my pleasure. Dan, we've been following you and everything that you're doing. I know you do a lot of demos for your software and everything, and you're really kind of hitting this whole syndication real estate market hard. Really impressed with what you guys are developing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and your experience in real estate to get this thing started?
Oh, sure. So I've had a short 35-year-plus career in real estate syndications. It started with a twinkle in my eye many, many years ago in Chicago, and then migrated over to the Pittsburgh area, and I built a real estate company that we eventually underwrote its IPO for nearly $2 billion worth of commercial real estate. We owned about nearly 2.5 million square feet of downtown Pittsburgh office buildings, and then food-anchored shopping centers from Naples, Florida, all the way up through Worcester, Mass. So we've done it all. It took us 10 years to accumulate that portfolio. It took an incredible amount of energy and capital to make that happen. There was no technology back then to facilitate any of the syndication nuances. So we did it the old-fashioned way. We passed the hat at the cathedral and the synagogue and paid our attorneys $20,000 per memorandum and waited 6 weeks for it to be completed, and then dialed for dollars and, meeting after meeting. And it was painful. It was painful, but that's the way things were done back then, so we didn't know any different. So, we did it successfully, and we sold the company at the right time, at the right place. It was the end of the pie eating contest, if you will, for the crazy IPO period, and basically retired. It was a good run. I mean, we did some fun things. We invested into the Pittsburgh Penguins. We invested into a bunch of adventure racing companies and things like that. So it was a fun time to be in Pittsburgh. But then once we sold, we decided to pitch our tent, and the kids moved on, and my wife and I moved down to beautiful St. Augustine, Florida.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, you don't sound like the kind of person that could sit back and retire. I'm sure at that point you were itchy to do something after that, and I guess that's how eVest was born.
Well, there's different definitions of retirement. Okay, I'm not a golfer. I don't golf. I don't do much of anything. When I cut myself, I bleed real estate. But I was a big. I was one of the largest syndicators back when, and ran with the Mel Simons and Herb Glimchers from the Glimcher Realty Trust. Actually, Herb was my mentor, so I'm aging myself. But it was a great time to be in the space because you learned real estate. Real estate's an art. Technology is a science, and that's why the two don't really embrace one another. It's like oil and water, man. So they've been divorced since this. The technology really was created. And they've never been embraced. And when I saw the Jobs Act occur in 2012 and 13, I thought, my God, this might be an opportunity to, come out of this quasi-retirement. I always dabbled. I was in the tech industry for, a number of years with some friends out of Houston as a principal, and we probably syndicated another $1 billion there with broker-dealers. But then I really retired for a couple of years to sit back and watch this crowdfunding conundrum take shape and mature, if you will, and decided, this is really cutting edge, man. This is a whole new opportunity that I've never seen before. So keep in mind the Securities Act of 1933 was the law. And you couldn't do some of the things we can do today until the Jobs Act was passed through Obama, and that opened the floodgates of opportunity. And the real estate industry didn't realize it. They sat back and still, paid their $20K for PPMs and waited 6 weeks and met investors and met investors who didn't realize that, you can embrace the digital technology with the deregulation of the securities laws, and it's a great windfall. So that piqued my interest, and I got back into the business.
Well, the other day I was over at your website, and I noticed on your blog you have an article up there that says, are you still paying outrageous fees for private placement memorandums, which is kind of interesting. It kind of hit home a lot because they are quite expensive a lot of times. Now, I mean, generally, though, organizations, people are raising money, they still need to have a PPM, though, right? I mean, that's still a necessity. Is that right?
So let me dispel that a little bit, the mystery there, okay? So there's certain compliance laws you have to follow. So the deregulation of the general solicitation laws allowed for the Reg D 506C Title II exemption, which allows you to utilize the general solicitation of your security. So you could put a banner behind your Citation 2 and fly it across the beach publicizing, your deal, whereas before 2013, you go to jail for that, okay? But now you can generally solicit your security. The security is real estate syndications. It could be a cannabis capital raise. It could be anything whatsoever. But the caveat is you can only allow accredited investors to invest in your deal. So what I decided to do was let's take the technology and create a platform by which we could generally solicit and digitize a private placement memorandum. So you don't need that traditional, 104-page, 5-pound document that costs you $20K and six weeks of your life. You only have to offer enough information to allow for an accredited investor to make a prudent business decision. That's how the law reads. And if you read that blog, you'll see where I do state the regs in there. So what I did was I said, okay, I get that. We're still going to call it a digital private placement memorandum. It's a PPM. We have all the disclaimers in there and policies and terms of policies, et cetera, in there. However, we have a number of tabs that give you the financial overview, the sponsor's background information, their success, their experience, the intricacies of all the moving parts of the transactions, et cetera, documentation. We even give our clients a subscription and operating agreements free of charge. So all that's uploaded to what we call a digital private placement memorandum. So the bottom line is this, Ron. You don't have to have a quote-unquote PPM any longer, but you have to have a vehicle in which you disseminate enough information to make a prudent business decision. Just so happens the vernacular PPM is widely understood within our syndication community, so we've digitized it, and we roll it out so they can actually market it digitally to anyone on the globe. And then internally, we built a process where the prospective investor who likes the deal has to go through this accreditation process, which we built internally, and then the gate opens and they're allowed to fund the transaction. So it took us a year to create the technology. Well, it was painstaking. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, yes and no. Okay, that famous answer. Well, it depends. Okay, it depends.
Well, now, but with regards to accredited investor, though, let's say they go onto your platform, onto your website or whatever, and then what you're saying is that they have to prove that they're accredited before they can get access to the deals. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've created is a complete syndication platform, all the way from creating a landing page for digital marketing to the private placement memorandum. An investor says, hey, I like this deal. I love the sponsor. Let's go ahead and pledge. So they pledge $50,000, which is nothing more than a placeholder. And keep in mind, this is all digital. I mean, it's gorgeous. There's videos, there's PowerPoint presentations, there's drone videos, whatever you want to upload. The technology has the capacity to do it. And by the way, this is all white labeled. So the presentation, it has the branding for our client. But once they pledge and they have the placeholder, now they're prompted. The next logical step is to go through the accreditation process. So the prospective investor gets continue. It takes them to the next page, and it's a very seamless process. We partnered with InvestReady, so they are prompted to upload the financial statement and or their tax returns to indeed verify or validate that they are accredited. And once they are accredited, and it's all done by third party, or they can upload a letter from their CPA or legal counsel dated within the last 90 days that certifies their accreditation. Mm-hmm. Our client can manually accredit them by utilizing that letter, or allow InvestReady to do it. So the technology will open the gate and say, okay, you're accredited, you can move forward, or you're not accredited, you cannot move forward. If you're accredited, you can move forward. Yeah. It really is. And the next logical step is go ahead.
I was going to say, usually what I see on these accreditation processes is, check this box if you're accredited, right?
No. That's a kiss of death, Ron. I mean, that sure is. That's amateur hour. That's 101 stuff. So no, this is really high level. Keep in mind, I built this with 35 years of experience of doing this for myself. So it's as if I'm in the saddle. Okay, I'm my own client. What do I want? So the technology is crisp. It's clear. The logos are beautiful. I mean, it's really simple stuff. The bottom line is, I created it for an investor to sit down at his kitchen table and invest 25 or 50K or whatever that number is in between pickleball games and get back to his pickleball. And I made it that seamless and simple. And that was the key to this thing. It has to be harmonious. Page has to flow from page to page to page easily. So we've achieved it, but it's taken a year.
Well, congratulations. That sounds splendid. How much
Thanks,
of the 6 weeks that you're talking about, how much time have you carved off of that?
So that's a great question. Great question, Vicki. So once we have a license agreement, this is all SaaS program, okay? It's a software as a service license. So our clients get their personal customer service representative. The second we receive the order form, a letter goes out from their customer service rep and says, okay, Vicki, we need the following information. And you can send it all at once, or you can send it a little bit at a time. So if you were to say, hey, Hala, I'm ready to roll. I have everything here, and you sent it into Hala as an example, it would probably take her 3 days of going back and forth with you, okay? We've developed the technology where it's only copy-paste. It's that simple. It really is that simple. So between setting up the colors of your company and the logos, your bank information, updating the subscription operating agreements, which I said we offer our clients, and photos and all that, back and forth, 3 days. Okay, I've seen it take as long as 3 weeks, only because the client didn't have everything ready or what have you. But from our perspective, dialogue back and forth, 3 days, and you're up and running.
That's a significant difference. And as you say, it's based on how much you have ready, what your information is to send to you. The more you have, the quicker it goes. That's fabulous. What about you're talking a $20,000 relative cost to do a traditional PPM. How much did you carve off of the price?
It's pretty staggering. So every PPM was $15,000 to $20,000. We normally did 5 deals a year, pretty substantial deals, 50, 60 million. But I would have to wait 6 weeks for every PPM, and I'd write a check right around $20K per, okay, for every one of those. That adds up, and more importantly was the time that adds up. So we've designed the license program, so it's under a SaaS program, software as a service program, and we have a one-time setup fee. So Vicki, you came to us and said, Dan, I have a retail center I need to raise $2.5 million for in equity. Can we get started? So the next item is, sure, we have a one-time setup fee of $3,500, one time and only one time. Then thereafter, it's $1,195 a month, period. But you could run one deal or 21 deals. It doesn't matter. The license fee never increases. So you own that platform. That's yours. So we've created your branded platform, okay? That's $3,500 one time. And then as you bring deals to the party, we actually upload for you. That's the difference between us and any competition. We developed the technology so we understand it. We're not going to throw a bunch of, technology at you because most of the real estate guys are not technology guys. They don't get it. So we do it for them. Eventually they learn it and they take off on their own. But in the meantime, the first few deals we upload for them. And they can do 1, 2, 3, 4 deals at any one point in time. We've got a client that just came on board last week and already has 2 deals up on his platform, going for the 3rd one now. The fee never changed. It's only $11.95 a month, period.
Wow, that's incredible. Significant.
It is. Yeah, it's really amazing. And what I'm taking from this, Dan, is that if I have a domain name, I want to start, let's say, Ron Costa Realty, and I would be able to brand Ron Costa Realty, your systems with that, so that people would come to my website and see the projects that I have on there, basically powered by your software as a service. Is that right?
100%. We're the engine behind the front end.
Okay, so that's really amazing, actually. Yeah, because right now, you're looking at some of these major crowdfunding portals out there, such as WeFunder or Start Engine. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I'm sure you are. But these are crowdfunding portals where that list project. You're basically saying that we could do the same thing for real estate using your software, then, which is it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, here's a couple of more amazing things, which are pretty cool. So first of all, we're real estate guys, right? So there's difference between us and them, right? We get it. So we understand the intricacies of raising capital. So as I started this discussion with, real estate's an art, okay? The technology side is a science. You cannot have a real estate syndication crowdfunding company run by a bunch of technology guys. People have to understand it's real estate first. So what we created for you was a website, basically, and a landing page to do your marketing with, okay, that is oriented towards real estate. That's first and foremost. On top of all that, we give our clients free of charge an operating and a subscription agreement. That's about an $8,000 savings right there, which we upload to your private placement memorandum also. So, and that's done instantaneously, and that was put together by our SEC counsel. So all that's done for you within days, and you're up and running, and you're in the marketplace, within 3-4 days raising capital. And the other thing we have is we have eVest Marketplace. eVest Marketplace. You can Google eVestmarketplace.com, and you'll see that we have a portal exclusively for our white label clients. Only our white label clients. It gets thousands of views from investors in our database, and all of the hits that we get from our PPC campaigns for eVest Marketplace. If someone invests and goes to eVest Marketplace and sees your deal, Vicki, and says, I want to see more, they hit continue, it goes directly to you. Okay? Oh. We're the engine. We're the engine behind the scenes. We have nothing to do with any communication or banking or money transfer, et cetera. Outside of the fact that, this is the really cool part, is that when our clients make dividend payments, it's automated. We have a payment processor, the Rolls Royce of the industry. So when Vicki, you upload the intricacies of your accounting, so you're paying out a pref of 8 and a crew of 2, you're paying out quarterly, and the commencement date is this, the technology reads that. And it will link up your bank account, your operating account, with the investor's account from which they invested from, and it will quarterly make those distribution payments from your bank account to their bank account, and it'll do the K1.
Oh,
it's amazing.
That's incredible. The accounting, just the accounting aspect is fabulous. Accounting usually is the thing that takes the most time and is the most stressful, but you've just pretty much eliminated that.
We become your back office accounting department. That's exactly correct.
That's fabulous. And plus, the $20,000 that you would have paid initially in the old days, now you can put that money to better use instead of just having it sit there.
Absolutely. So
that's incredible. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Don't underestimate the fact that you're also opening up a much larger pipeline for transactions. So you're going to be able to do more than 3 or 4 transactions a year. You can get in and you can get out, and you can manage these investments through the accounting section. We had one of our clients just recently leave one of the other major platforms to come to us because they're able to disseminate information via my message center and send the K-1s out automatically and send out filtered communication to everyone that is invested in Building A and then Building B and Building C. They can upload P&Ls, and they can automatically filter out those investors that get that P&L for Building A, Building B, Building C, and so on. So,
that's just mind-boggling.
I was in the business, so I know the pain points, and I solved for the pain points, and it took us a year. It took us a year and $1 million.
That's important, because unless you can understand how it feels to do the transaction so that you know what not to do and what to do, that's what's making it successful. That's how you can do all of these things, because you understand it from your mind and your heart both.
Yeah, and that's when it gets back to what I commented, that real estate's an art, okay? You have to have done it. You don't learn this in college. Yeah, you're not an analyst, okay? You're a practitioner, an entrepreneur practitioner, and we did it at the highest level. So let me tell you, I made a lot of mistakes, real boner mistakes, okay? But unless you've been there and you've done it, you don't know better. I've been there, I've done it, and at my expense, what I roll out as eVest technology has zero downside, zero casualties, zero mistakes. We've thought it through. We're adding features. Clients come to us and say, "Hey, Dan, we've got some previous deals we closed on, and we're still writing dividend checks every month. Can I upload those to this technology, and can you automatically make those dividend payments?" And I thought, wow. I sat down with my programmers, and they said, "Yeah, give me 2 weeks. Yeah, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. It took us to write the program to allow for that. So if you come to me with 2 deals with 50 investors, we can upload those investors, upload the accounting pursuant to those deals, and we'll make those dividend distributions for you."
Oh my, that's fabulous.
Yeah. So
and
Dan,
you do all of this out of Florida?
Yeah, everything. We outsource nothing, Vicki. We outsource zero. It's all here in Jacksonville, Florida. I have my own programmers, my own real estate people, my own customer service. That's just something I learned by building a company from scratch to 150 people. You got to have them in your office every day. You got to have team meetings. You got to have the right personalities.
That's the key.
And it works.
That's the key. And plus, you've created an atmosphere where people want to be there and want to push themselves to see, what can I do about this and with this and for the customer and the end user. That's remarkable.
Yeah, and we've succeeded in doing that.
Congratulations.
Succeeded in doing that. Thank you. That was the hardest part. Putting this team together was the hardest part.
Oh, I can imagine that.
And Dan, let me ask you: Are most of your clients real estate syndicators or developers, or you don't get too many brokers or agents that are doing this?
Oh God, we're in the cannabis business. We're in the hard money lending business. We've got investment bankers selling municipal bonds. We've got wineries. We've got investment bankers. Broker dealers are now coming to us. We're actually, believe it or not, we're actually adding a new department to my company. It's called eVest Securities. So we're bringing a broker dealership under our umbrella to raise capital for the cannabis business. It's huge.
Yeah, that's big.
It's huge.
Yeah, really
huge. It's huge. So, there's so much opportunity here just by understanding that there's technology that can do what I used to do manually. And until you've been in the shoes on both sides, you don't appreciate, how wonderful today's environment is to create massive opportunities.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you a question. If I am interested and decide I want to raise capital and find investors, at what stage in the process do I come to you and say, help me? When I have the idea, or after I've done some preliminary steps? What do you suggest?
So I've had both. I've had someone come in. I've been an investment banker in Kansas City that came in and actually paid for a full year. I give a 1-month discount. It didn't come back to us until 6 months later. He wanted to tie in that pricing there, and then he came to us with the municipal bond platform to sell municipal bonds. But I think in generally, to answer your question, don't wait until the last minute, because I would prefer to create something wonderful in terms of, the setup, the intricacies of the logos, the dynamics of the website, the colors. Really, let's get that down pat. And then if you have a deal under contract, okay, that's when you pull the trigger. And we'll put it up in the portal, say coming soon, while we're building the rest of it out. So it does get some traction and some exposure. So there's a pretty picture and there's some high-level metrics about the deal. People actually look at the deal. They can't go any further, okay, but at least they've been introduced to the deal. And then as you work through due diligence, your money goes hard. That's when you pull the trigger, and we go to market with it and assist you with your marketing also.
Oh, so you want to go sooner so you can develop the project, but you still don't want to go until you actually have the seed planted for the project.
Yeah, you don't want any false starts. Okay, so
right. Why should you
start
keep
raising
it?
Exactly. So to start raising capital until you have control of the asset, I think is a foolish move because you don't get a second chance for a first impression.
That's
if
true.
I send you $100K, and keep in mind, depending on the client, some clients will pay a yield on the investment the second it's funded, and some clients will say, wait, we're not going to pay a yield until we close. So, that's a slippery slope that our clients have to make the decision which way to go. We help in that decision making, but there's upside and downside either way you go. But at the end of the day, there's no bad decision.
So your team can help someone coming to you from all aspects, can advise them in all areas to help them be successful in whatever it is that they're looking for.
We advise probably 60 to 70% of our clients.
Wow.
A lot of clients come to us because, A, I'm a pretty well-known commodity in the real estate business, and B, I've done it, okay? I mean, I've got some really high-end syndicators that will come to me often and say, Dan, what do you think about this? What do you think about this yield? What kind of a pref do we need out there? How long is the holding period? Is it 3 years, 4 years, 5? What kind of an IRR do I need to hit? Okay, if it's a value-add deal. All right, what's the reversion? Let's talk about the reversion. Let's talk about the waterfall, okay? And there's very simple answers. There's very simple answers to those very complicated questions, okay? And unless you live through it, you don't understand the simple questions, all right? You back into all that stuff, okay? You just decide what that yield's going to be, and then you back into it.
Right.
But, there's a reason I've been in real estate for almost 40 years. It's a simple industry once you understand it. Don't make things complicated. But, yes, they do come to me for a lot of consultation. The only thing I don't do, okay, I am not your crowdfunding company. I do not raise money for you. I will give it exposure. I'll bring them to water, but I can't make them drink. And I can't say that more emphatically.
Well, you can't do everything.
I can't. I try, but I can't. We do what we're good at.
It only took you 40 years to be an overnight success, right?
You know who said that, don't you? Willie Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
Willie Nelson said it took me 28 years to become an overnight success. That's funny.
Is the platform eligible for all kinds of deals in terms of like multifamily, land development, high-rise, whatever, right?
We do it all.
Okay.
We've got every asset class. I literally don't have an asset class that we can't address. I've got assisted living. I've got hospitality development. I've got every asset class. We've got the fourth largest construction company in America as a client, and I've got guys that fix and flip deals and everything in between. The Hyatt Group is one of our clients. Herschel Walker, the NFL football player, he's got a bunch of franchises that raising money for. We've got a little bit of everything.
Well, it sounds like it's a no-brainer because, like you said before, with the subscription agreement and the private placement memorandums, that's all taken care of. That's a big hurdle. That's one of the greatest things about it, and then add the exposure and plus the private label aspect of it. You got a big winner there, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we priced it accordingly. We think we priced it where the little guys can get in, and just as well as the big guys.
Do you get into advising your clients in the success of the project, like the analyticals and demographics, say, of what they're proposing to do? I want to build this hotel and I want to put it here, and then I come to you. Will your team work with deciding whether they really should put it there or maybe someplace else? Or maybe do a different project in the real estate that they have?
No, we don't. We have the capacity. We don't have the hours to do it. No, we can't. We're not that kind of an advisory firm.
Right.
There's not enough hours in the day to say you shouldn't be in Fort Lauderdale. You should be in Naples.
Well, you'd be wasting a lot of your time that's more viable dealing with just what ifs.
Yeah, we've got it down to a science. It's cookie cutter for us now. The heavy lifting was 12 months ago. It's not 12 months, but the last 12 months was the heavy lifting. And now we're realizing the fruits of our labor, and we're overwhelmed with business. We're literally overwhelmed because no one else has got this, and it's brand new to real estate.
Yeah. Well, Dan, if somebody's out there listening to this podcast right now, they may want to get involved with this and start getting on your platform. We already talked about the eVestmarketplace.com, but how do they get a hold of you? Is there another website, phone, email, or what do you like?
Sure. You can go to eVestTech.com. It's EVEST, 2 T's.com, or reach me directly at D as in Dan Summers, SUMMERS, at eVestTech.com. And again, that's EVEST, 2 T's, TECH.com. And I'll respond ASAP.
That sounds great. One more question before we go, Dan. Are you a believer in blockchain with respect to real estate technology?
Well, we're knee-deep with a third-party company that we're in discussions with in a partnership to generate some of the blockchain nuances. The answer is yes, Ron, okay? Mm-hmm. But I know enough to be dangerous. Okay, we've been negotiating for now 2 months, not negotiating, but discussions, and we're almost at a point where we're going to pull the trigger. But I just want to make sure that I'm not just selling a nuance or today's snappy phrase. Okay, it's got to have some applicable assets or amenities, if you will, to my site. And
agreed.
Security's issues. Security we have really addressed. The payment processor, as I said, is the Rolls Royce. So everything's encrypted. We've used 9 servers. We only need 3. Redundancy is staggering at my end. So the security is very high end. The question is, do I need blockchain? I don't want to bring it in because it's the word of the day. Okay, it's so less is more. Less is more.
Yeah.
So
I agree on that.
My guy's going to be more successful with blockchain. And if the answer is yes, of course I am. If the answer is it doesn't matter, then I'm not going to do it. Less is more.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But hopefully, Dan, hopefully maybe we'll get you on the show again if you do pull the trigger on that, and likewise as you continue your growth with eVest, I hope you'll be a friend to the show. I really appreciate you taking time out today to speak with us and our audience. So it was really informative. Really enjoyed this.
Indeed, it was my pleasure to meet you and Vicki. Any other questions, or if I can help in any other way in the future, feel free to reach out to me, and always available for a future podcast.
Oh,
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And as I said, congratulations to you for creating something new and unique that actually helps your end user and makes you feel good about it.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, everyone out there, you're listening to the Mappable USA podcast at mappableusa.com. You can go to the website, scroll down, you'll see all our syndication sources. Click the one you like and subscribe so you don't miss another podcast. And if you want to be a guest today like Dan was, there's a guest tab there. You just click on the tab, fill out the form, and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the show. So once again, thanks a lot for listening. We appreciate you all out there. And we look forward to bringing you another podcast next week on the Mappable USA podcast. Have a great week, folks.